Hello guys, and welcome to this video. Today I'm going to make something I haven't done in a very long time. I've actually never done an English Game Maker Studio tutorial, but I'm going to do that today. And, well, the game we are going to be making is a game like this. A platformer arcade kind of game. And it should be pretty simple, and, you know, if you haven't ever watched any tutorials in Game Maker Studio, you probably should, but it isn't like you have to be very good at it or anything just to follow this. So yeah, let's get started and boot up Game Maker Studio. Now I have started up Game Maker, and I have to start by making a sprite because we need some sprites for the game. If you don't know, sprites are like images, so you click here and give it a name like sprite player because we need a player sprite. And yeah, I'm just going to make it 16 by 16. You can make it whatever you want to. If you want to follow this tutorial completely, like without changing anything, you should probably make it 16 by 16 because then the collisions will work in the same way as they do in my game. And I'm just going to draw something like a little man with some feet or something, because I just need something that's easily animated. I'm not trying to make this look good or anything. So let's just like draw a little man with a face and some hair, and just color his head and color his shirt or whatever, and then also just color his feet. So it should look just at least just a little bit like a human, even though this does not look like a human at all. But that doesn't matter because it just have to be a sprite. You can draw it how amazingly you want to. You can probably make it look amazing. I'm not good at making stuff look amazing. So we need to animate it, and I just duplicated the image and went in here, and yeah, now I just have to change the legs a little bit because what I'm going to make here is a running animation because he needs to run. And so I'm just going to, you can do this however you want to. I'm just gonna move the legs closer. I know this doesn't look good whatsoever, but it doesn't really matter. Just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to make him simple so that it doesn't take too much time, because this isn't really relevant to the tutorial in any way. So yeah, that's fine. So I have 5 images here. If you want to know how I did the reverse thing, I just clicked add reverse. So yeah, and now I have the player sprite, and it's pretty important that you just check that the entire collision or whatever is filled out by clicking modify mask, and then you can see in here the entire picture is black. If it isn't black, you just click full image and it should be black. That means that the computer checks for the entire image as something that can collide with the other objects, and that's kind of important if you want the game to run properly. Otherwise you can get stuck in walls and stuff. And I really hope I'm not speaking too fast. I probably am, but oh well. Let's just create an object now, because he also needs an object, and call that obj_player. I'm calling it obj for object, of course, and spr for sprite, just so that Game Maker won't get confused when we try to call functions in the different objects and stuff, just so that it will work. And I'm also just going to create a quick sprite wall, because we need walls in this game. Walls he can jump on and stuff. So I'm just going to make that a solid blue color. There we go. And the player, and we're also going to create obj_wall. And the wall is going to be solid. This just means that when you check for place_free to whatever side, this will make so that the place isn't free. For example, if you want to check if the place next to you is free and a object that's solid is in that place, it won't be free, you can say. It's a bit confusing, but I'm going to show you what I mean later. First, we need to create a create event for the player, and the create event is pretty much what's called right when the object is created. That means when I create the object from another object, or just when the room starts, if he's already in the room. And under this create event, we're just going to say image underscore speed equals 0. This is just so that the object doesn't run its animation all the time by itself. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what we need for now. And then we're also going to make a step event, and this is something that's executed all the time, 30 times a second. And under the step event, we have to take care of all his movement and the gravity and stuff like that. Let's just quickly start by adding some movements to the left and right. So to check for the left key press, to check when you press the left arrow key, whatever you want to call it, you simply write if keyboard underscore keyboard underscore check, and then you write vk underscore left. This is just checking for the left arrow key, and when the left arrow key is checked or pressed, whatever, he has to move to the left, of course. This is made just by saying x minus equals how fast you want to make him move, because the x variable is his position in the room in the horizontal axis of it, whatever, like left and right. X is left and right, and Y is up and down. And to making him move left, you have to say x minus equals 1. And this removes 1 point from the x variable and makes him move 1 pixel to the left. I hope you understand that. You're going to be able to see it a bit later in the game. But he shouldn't be able to move to the left if there is something blocking him. And that's why we can use if place free. I think place free. X minus 1 and then Y. This just means that if there isn't any object minus 1x to the player or whatever, and on this same Y position as him, he will be able to move to minus 1x. Yeah, so if the place is free besides him, he can move over there, and if it's not, he can't. So we're just going to copy and paste this for the right arrow key, and just change it to plus, because now he has to move to the right instead of to the left. And now we can create a room to test if this works. And I'm just going to make the room 640 by 480 and create a dark gray background, because I think that looks better than this light gray background, and set these snap Y and snap X to 16 by 16, because then I can place the objects in a 16 by 16 grid or whatever. So I'm just going to place him down here, and currently there is no gravity, so I can easily place him just without having anything below him. We're going to add gravity a little bit later, and then I'm just going to add a block here and a block here. So let's just run the game by pressing the green run button, and now it should work. Kind of. He's moving a bit slow, I think, but he can move through these, and yeah, it works. I'm just going to upgrade his speed a little bit by saying x minus equals 5 and plus equals 5, and then change this to 5 too, of course. Yeah, so now he should be able to move a bit faster. And we also have to add some gravity, of course. And this can be done pretty simply by just saying if place free x comma y plus, let's say, 3, then y plus equals 3. And as you probably can guess, this means if there is no object right below him, 3 pixels below him, he's going to move 3 pixels down, and he's just going to keep doing this. So this means that if we put him up here, let's say around there, and run the game, he will fall down and land on that object right there, and that's kind of cool. As you can probably see, he won't land perfectly on it though. He will like float 3 pixels above it, and that's because when he is right there, this thing is true. There is an object 3 pixels below him, that just is no object right below him. So we can do something very easy to fix that. We can copy and paste this and then say +1, 2. This means that if, even though there is something 3 pixels below him, it will also test if there is something 1 pixel below him. And just to make sure that he won't fall down 4 pixels every step, we're just going to add an else statement here. This means that this code right here will only run if this if statement up here fails. That means if there is something 3 pixels below him, it will say, okay then, is there also something 1 pixel below him? And if there is that, it will go 1 pixel down. So now this should pretty much work. And I hope I'm not speaking too fast or anything. Please just tell me in the comments below if I am. And as you can see, now it works perfectly. Yeah, I'm just going to take a little break just so that you can understand what I'm saying and try to explain it again. Yeah, this all just controls the movement and this controls the falling. And I think you get it. If you have any questions, just remember to post them in the comments. I really want to make this tutorial as good as possible. Yeah. And now when we have the falling and the movement left and right, we also have to have some jumping. And we can do this pretty easily by adding a variable. No, I mean an if statement again. We should add a variable later. If keyboard underscore check vk underscore up. Okay. So when you press the up key, I'm just going to change this to vk underscore check underscore pressed, because then it's only right when you click it and not if you hold the button down. There we go. Then key pressed. I don't know what I'm doing. Key press. There we go. Or check press. Okay, right now I'm kind of confused. Yeah, check pressed. I don't know what the other thing does. I'm assuming it's pretty much the same thing. I just normally use the keyboard check pressed, and I know that works. So yeah, when you press the up key, we have to have a variable called jumped. I'm just going to make it in the create event. Jumped equals false. This means that he hasn't jumped. So that's pretty self-explanatory. What? Like, when it's false, he hasn't jumped. That means that he isn't jumping and he's just falling like normal and everything is just running like always. But when we press the up key, it's going to test if place underscore 3 x comma y plus 2, I'm just going to say. And this exclamation mark right here means if that's not true. So this tests if there is something, if it's not free to y down. So yeah, it pretty much tests if there is something 2 pixels below him. And if that's the case, it's going to set the variable jumped to true. And what this variable jumped is going to do is he won't fall when it's equal to true, because if he falls while he's jumping, the jumping won't really work. So we're going to down here say if jumped is equals to false, and we have to use 2 exclamation points, exclamation marks I mean. Yeah, I think, no, I don't remember what the 2 equal signs, isn't that what they're called? I don't know, but 2 of these things when you test if something is equal to something else. You can't just use 1, I don't think. Maybe you can in Game Maker, but in most other programming languages you have to use 2. And if jump's equal to false, he's going to fall like normal. But if it's not equal to false, then he's going to fall upwards. You can say he's going to jump. So pretty much we're just going to copy this code up here and paste down else. And this means that we're just going to change all this stuff to minus, because he has to pretty much fall upwards when he's jumping. And then we're also going to do something else when he presses the up key up here. We're going to set an alarm to let's say this is how long he can jump. How long his jump is pretty much. Let's just say alarm 0 to 30. 30 is 1 second. So I think that should be fine. And then go under alarm 0, because there are pretty much these alarms in Game Maker Studio and you can use them to time stuff. So under alarm 0 we're just going to set his jumped variable back to false, meaning he isn't jumping anymore. I hope you understand this, but now the jumping should pretty much work, I hope. Yep. I know this doesn't look that great, so we can do something to fix this and make it look a bit more smooth. And what we can do is, down here, this is the jumping code. You can make a comment by putting 2 dashes, then everything right here is not going to be executed, and you can just write stuff so that you better can remember what's going on. Jump code, and then up here we can write fall code, just so that we can remember. And what we're going to change here is, instead of saying that, you know, he's just going to jump with the same speed all the time, we have to make him jump slower and slower. Meaning that we're going to say minus alarm 0 divided by let's just say 2. Because then, or maybe a bit more, divided by 5. And change it down here too, of course. Because then he will fall slower and slower, because this alarm will constantly count down, meaning that when he's set to 30 he will fall down with 30 divided by 5, and when it's went down to 20 he will fall with, or he would jump with 20 divided by 5, meaning that he should jump slower and slower until he starts falling. And this should make it a bit more easy to see when he's going to start falling, as you can see. Yeah, and I think that this is pretty nice. Maybe he should fall a bit quicker, but I don't really know. I'm just going to try setting it up to 5. And yeah, if I'm speaking too fast, I'm just a bit sorry, because I'm just afraid this video is going to be way too long. Okay. I think this is maybe a bit too much. I'm going to set it to 4 then. And I'm also going to set this to, let's say, 20 instead of 30. Yeah. And as you can see here, we have a pretty nice jump. And you could also make him fall a bit, you know, more realistic or whatever, but I think this is fine, because this isn't supposed to be a super advanced or realistic game in any way. So I'm just quickly going to design a stage, and I will be right back. And I've just made a little stage just to demonstrate how this works. And I exactly can't jump all the way up here. Oh well, I'm just going to change the wall a little bit so that he can jump a little bit higher. I mean, I'm going to change the player a little bit so that he can jump a little bit higher. And I'm just going to say, instead of dividing this by 5, I'm going to say divided by 2. Now he can jump way higher. And here we go. Yeah, now he can jump. And this is pretty nice. He's maybe jumping a bit too much now. So I'm just going to set the variable, the alarm down to 10, so that he can only jump in a 1/10 of a second. Yeah, I know that sounds like very little, but yeah, now it also is. You just have to play around with this until it works. So yeah, And I think it works pretty well now. Now he jumps double the height as it did before. Yeah, there we go. This is fine. And as you can see, this works pretty nicely. And we just have one problem. He's kind of stuck like this. He doesn't fall down when he hits a wall. And he should. So we're just quickly going to fix this. We can fix this very easily by down here. When we say if place -1, instead of saying, we're just going to delete this and say if the place isn't free, you know, alarm, this is under the jump code. So we are going to say if place is free, above him he can jump, but else, otherwise you can say he's not going to be able to jump anymore. Therefore we set alarm 0 to 1, and this means that the alarm 0 is going to execute in 1/30th of a second, and set the jump to false. So now he should fall down when he hits his head up in a block. Yeah, you can see it works. It works pretty well. And in the next episode or whatever, we are going to take care of the animations and the sprite rotation. So I hope you're going to leave some feedback and tell me if this episode sucked, if I spoke way too fast, if I should die in a hole, and all those great things. And I will see you next episode. Also, if I was kind of hard to understand, I've just been sick, so yeah, that's maybe something to do with it. So yeah, goodbye guys!